Yeah, Can't Go Blind was one of those records. I worked on that song for like 3 years, adding different elements to the production. You know, it started off with an acoustic guitar, and then it's like I wanted to combine this acoustic feel with like hip hop bass lines, you know. So I took my time really building that, and then that song means a lot to me because, you know, my grandfather had passed away at the time, and his passing is what inspired me to write Can't Go Blind. And, you know, it just talks about, you know, it's a very vulnerable, I'm not a very soft, emotional, vulnerable person. So just writing such a vulnerable song and really having to like live out my emotions in the studio, that was a challenge for me. And even when I'm in the car and I hear Can't Go Blind, you know, I'd be like, man, it's crazy. I get chills through my body just because I know like what that song means to me, and, you know, putting it out for the world to hear it. And, you know, it wasn't even about hoping everyone would like it. No, it was just about like, this is how I'm feeling. This is true to me right now. This is a vulnerable piece of, I don't know. It's like, I'm nervous sometimes with that song still because it's very special to me. It's my most special song. And that song took me a long time to produce. I did that in Detroit with the Olympics, which is a production team out in Detroit. And yeah, that song right there, that's my most challenging record because, you know, I wanted it to be perfect. And like I said, it's still not perfect. I had to just go ahead and put it out, you know? Yep, I knew it. I'm like, listen, I need to figure out how to strip the audio from this video. My papa had, he was 97 when he passed away. And he was the coolest dude ever, bro. Like literally the coolest cat, literally. And I'm like, he had Alzheimer's and he couldn't remember anything. But that poem, no matter to his last days, he could quote that poem word for word. And just the poem itself, he wrote it, is very inspiring. You know, it's just talking about not being afraid to go for it. If you start, you might fail, but don't take it to heart. That don't mean you gotta give up. You just try it again in a different way because it all depends on how you start, you know? And I knew it. I told them, I'm like, we gotta figure out how to strip this audio from this video on my papa and put it at the end of the record. And they made it happen for me. And I don't know, that song is like it's like I wish I could frame it and put it on my wall. Yeah, they both did. See, La Vintage was just like a mixtape of a bunch of songs I had out already. That's why it's called La Vintage, because the records were I had just put out a bunch of songs as singles. I had just started dropping songs. So I was like, you know what? After seeing how much people love these records, I'm like, let me just bundle all these songs up and give it to them on a project. And then I did throw a couple of new songs on there as well. Never Fold, that project, man, that project is a very vulnerable project, like from song to song. Like I was in this place where like it was right after I had left my relationship I was in for like 12 years, you know, like my family split up pretty much, you know, like my whole way of living since I was like 16 years old had changed in that moment. So Never Fold, I literally went into the studio and I locked myself in the studio and I would just write. And I didn't push that record as much, only because I just felt like during that time of my life, it was such a dark place, you know, so a lot of those songs, they feel real raw. They feel real gutter and street because that's where I was mentally. Yeah, what I would take away from putting out La Vintage and Never Fold is just continuing to be authentic with my feelings, you know, because when I go back and I listen to those records, especially on Never Fold and even on La Vintage, like a lot of those songs, like I relive those moments in my life. And it's pretty cool, you know, to listen to a song and be like, this is where I was at that time, you know, like this was my state of mind. I can remember things I was doing. So even with my next project, I'm looking to elevate my production and of course elevate my writing. I'm tapping into more of an R&B sound with my music because I'm very diverse as an artist. I sing, I rap, I do high energy, but then I can also do ballads and I can also do mids, you know? So right now it's just a matter of like tapping in and curating a sound, a new sound really to give my fans, you know, with this new project. Even Ducked Off is different, a little different than a lot of the other music that I have out already, you know? So I'm excited about this next project.